Coming straight out of Ecamm. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the sham. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the sham. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. It's a jam for the Ecamm fam. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the sham.
Hold it, stop the music!
Ladies and gentlemen.
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 Can I please have your attention?
Now showtime, are you ready? Are you ready for start time?
Let's find out. Ready, let's go.
Hooligans. What it do, peoples? What it do, what it do. All right, y'all. Let's get ready to sink into a live demi. Let me start by, all right, you know what? I'm going to just show you guys the real deal. Holyfield, initially, when I start my streams, they look like this, right? But when we do the demo, I tend to slim it back a little bit because there are people who love to tell themselves that having all of these buttons somehow makes the program hard. Not really, because if you only use 2 of the buttons, then it's only 2 buttons. Some people use 40 of the buttons. Some people use 6. I probably use 5. Honestly, like my streams are not crazy as far as like making them over technical, because there is a myth that if I have a really dope and over technical stream, it somehow makes the content better, which could not be further from the truth. You know what makes the content better? Good content. So you don't have to do all these crazy technical things in order to have an epic stream. Another thing, just in case anybody's new around here, I like to quickly point out, because I hear this every week and it drives me batty. I have been around folks that say, I wanted to use Ecamm Live, but I don't live stream. And that pains me. That pains me, because you don't have to go live. You can just use it for recording. All right, I do recognize a brand new face in the building. Aloha ke kahiaka. Melvin is in the building. Somebody from around my way, except for Kauai is a different island. One of my favorite islands, by the way. If you come here, your brain, thanks to MTV and some other dumb stuff, would tell you to go to Maui, and I call that Mauifornia. It is not a true representation of the islands. It is very much California. Kauai is much better. So if you come here and you want to experience like the real deal Holyfield, Hawaii, you want to go to Kauai, you want to go to Hawaii Island proper, or you want to go to my ultimate favorite, which is Lanai. And the reason why I like that place is there's 2,500 total population, half of them ebb back and forth. So it's really, really low key and super dope. And where Bill Gates got married, by the way. So yeah, it's super dope. Anyway, Anita, good to see you here. Yeah, here, let me show you, Anita, how when you first start Ecamm, okay, listen, I'm gonna say some mean stuff and then I'm gonna say nice stuff. if looking at all these buttons somehow scares you, we probably can't be friends because they can't hurt you. Like, I just wish people would stop thinking that all these buttons means that you're going to be in some sort of physical pain because you're not. So let that part go. But yeah, look, check it out. You can turn this off. You don't need that. You can turn that off if you don't need that. Definitely, you don't need this. Turn it off. You can turn this off. And then these two probably have to stay open. And if you don't want to talk to people, you can turn this off. So in theory, your Ecamm could look this simple. If you really wanted it to. As a matter of fact, let's go in here and take this one step further. We're going to take all of these scenes that are in here because that looks complicated. All right, we get rid of all of them. We don't need not name one of them. And then we're going to take all of these scenes down here that look complicated. I'll leave that one because I want to show you something. And we'll take that and we'll turn it off and okay, down, boom. So now we have intro. We have this scene and then we have piece. That could be your whole show right there. Just 3 scenes. Oh, yeah. By the way, this overlay folder is now crowded, so we can get rid of all of that. That was me goofing off. We don't need none of them, and then we don't need none of these. Okay, now it's hella simple, right? Now it's hella simple. It's the master window, scenes, and overlays. So we'll dive into that, but I will turn on comments so I can see what you guys are talking about. So there it is. Like, it really can be that simple, and I think that's I was people who watch me say this stream all the time every Friday. I tend to call it like when you go rent a car. This week, last week, I can't speak English. I went to San Diego and I rented a car, and Avis gave me a Hyundai Tucson. First of all, I was gratefully surprised because I always thought of Hyundais as just like a total POS because the original ones were. Turns out they've had a come to Jesus moment and they've made much better cars. This car is actually pretty incredible. But coming from my 2010 Tacoma work truck, which has a steering wheel, a gas and a brake, and an AC. And most of the time it's on the Hawaii 440 AC, which means 4 windows and 40 miles an hour. Mine's is more like 480. But, it's a very simple work truck. Like, I use it to move wood back and forth, right? So I wasn't really paying attention to all of the cool creature comforts that would be in this new Tucson. When I get to San Diego and they hand me this car, I wanted to get to the hotel. I just came out of a long flight and I wanted to check into my hotel and go to In-N-Out Burger because that's what you do when you go to California. And did I get in and look at all of those buttons and all of this cool stuff that this car can do? No. I jumped in, threw the suitcases in the back, showed the lady the ID in the preferred lane, and I drove out. Went straight to the hotel and went straight to In-N-Out Burger. They was getting ready to be closed. I ended up going to, what do you call that thing? Smash Burger? That's not what it's called. Shake Shack. Ended up going to Shake Shack instead. Actually better. Don't tell anybody I said that. My friends would kill me. Shake Shack's better. Anyway, so go to Shake Shack. The next day when I get in the car, I start looking at what some of those buttons do. So just think of this the same way. Like, as long as you know where the gas, brake, and the dip is, all the rest of that stuff is irrelevant. You know what I mean? Later on throughout the week, as I'm driving, I find out about the automatic distance and the automatic steering, and you can just drive like this, and it does what... That was cool, but I didn't go to that straight away. That's how you should approach any of this streaming stuff. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Get your mission done, and then add. Then get your mission done some more, and then add, and then add, and then come to this every Friday, and we'll tell you cool stuff in the process. So there you go. Anita, thank you for being here. Let's see. Ecamm has been a game changer. Well, mahalo. Mahalo nui loa, as we say. Right? Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Yo, you guys are going to be mad. I don't do favoritism, but Melvin's from here, so he's going to get extra today. Because, us Hawaii folks, we got to stick together. Y'all be making fun of us. Have you got a fixed focus on your camera, or is it set to autofocus? I don't do autofocus because, I just don't. Number one, I have the TV. What the hell? Oh, there it is. Number one, I have the TV on. And so, like, sometimes a person will pop up back. Well, who's on today? Oh, Palawan. All right. Sometimes a person will pop up back there and Sony's look for eyes. And if I'm doing down, it will turn around and focus back on the eyes back there. So me personally, I never use autofocus. If I want to show something in a close-up camera, I have a camera that I can just pop to real quick. And then, I can show something close up and it will focus as soon as I hide my eyes. You know what I mean? So you can do that. But yeah, I don't use autofocus. I just prefer to do it manually. Sony cameras focus really quickly, but yeah. The thing is, here's a big one, B. The reason why you have this problem is not really you. Most of us are using I'm using f3.2 right now, which is perfect enough to give me bokeh back there. Because I have some space, right? If you have a really shallow studio, a lot of people will have their f-stop on f2.8, and if you're at f2.8, from here to here is a different focus. I mean, you have a matter of about 4 inches and sometimes less to be out of focus. So the reason why your face might be focused and your hat is not is your hat is just far enough out of the focus center because you're using f2.8, or if you're leaning back, there's an angular, you're moving out half your body in, half your body out. So yeah, that might be why. Also, reason why I don't use f2.8 on this lens, even though this lens goes down to f1.8, I usually set it to 3.2 because I have a little bit more focus space when I'm moving between here and here. You know what I mean? That's another one. I wanted to live stream and have a script, but I want the basic things you would need. Example, lower third. Okay, that's part of this deal. You're in there. Whoa, what is up, Silverhead Fitness? How are you doing? Kinda. But yes, Shake Shack is much better. Funny, I left New York before Shake Shack became a thing. It's kind of crazy. James, what in the heck is a habit burger? That sounds like something I got to habit. All right, real quick for Anita, let me do this. NDI. All right, I'm gonna use an application called NDI Atrix Capture. You could just plug it in. I don't want to dig out my iPhone cables, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use NDI Atrix Capture real quick. Now that is on, let's go to here and then go to Filmic Pro. George, I was going to get that because I remember that's being one of the things I loved about Shake Shack, but I promised myself I would eat less sugar, and so I didn't get it this time, although I really wanted it because it's so good. Let's see. Where is it at? I'm looking at a list. I'm going to show you guys something. Hold on. 2 one more day. Did that work? Okay, yeah, that works. All right, I'm going to pop this in real quick so I can show Anita. This is where I don't use scripts. I just don't. Highly overrated. But if I were to need a script, this is where it would live. It would live like on this particular thing. So this is a desk view. Man, get in the display. There it is. It is a desk view T3. It costs $99, and then this is a Lilliput A7. Costs $120, and you stack those two together. It slips right on top of your lens. So there's a Sony ZV-E10 with a Tamron lens on it, and it sits right on the front of your lens. And then you can put your script over there if you will. I'm going to cheat, and let's do something so you can kind of see like what it looks like. It'll be upside down, of course. Let's go to here. If I was to pick this up and drag this over to here and then double click it so that it fits, this would be your script, right? It looks perfect in here, right? If you're into Jurassic World. But yeah, I don't use that. I basically stick people over there. So if I were to have a guest, and let's just use this camera as a guest, I stick it on that monitor. And then that way I'm looking at my guests when I'm talking to them, but it's through, get up there. It's through the camera lens. So then I can look straight in their face and then be like, whatever. So that is a thing. And the way I did that is in Camera Switcher, you can select your last monitor as a thing. So you can put it over there, right? But yeah, if you had a script, that's where you would put it. That's the easiest way to do this. A lot of people try to do it without doing the teleprompter. It doesn't work. It's because your eyes are looking at the script. So that's the best, fastest, simplest way to get that did. All right, anyway, let's dive into some cam right here and then show you what it do. So again, I'm going to temporarily close you guys for a second because I want to get to the master D script first. All right, so I like to think of this as a house, right? Each individual show is a house. In this Ecamm program, at the top here, we have something called profiles. These are my profiles. These are my individual houses, if you will, right? Now, each of these has a different set of rooms and a different set of furnitures, like any house. We're not buying all the same house in the same subdivision, so they're all going to look a little different. Right now, we're in the house called Ecamm Demo. I can't switch these because we're live, but just stick with me. It'll make sense in a second. All right, now, once I have this house set up, I'm sitting here in the master room. I am going to open up, get back over here. I'm going to open up my scenes window because I like to think of scenes as rooms. I have an intro. I have this host room, which is like the main living room, and I have a get out the door. Okay, that's it for now. But we're going to add some more rooms in a second. Okay, so get back in there, pop that out. So the next thing I would need for this room is some furnitures. In this particular case, the camera is a furniture, right? So in order to show that, I need to open up my overlays window, and then I have my master camera. Ooh, wrong camera. I have my master camera as my original piece of furniture. If I turn this off real quick, say I might want to go in and pop in an area rug. So I have a folder on my computer called Ecamm Assets. That's where I leave all my Ecamm oriented things. And so I'll scroll up in here and I'll get me an area rug and then I'll drop that in. Now I'll put my camera on top of that rug and then turn it on. Booyaka. Now we have a background, and that background could be all myriad things. Let's say I drop in this and I'll say add an animated overlay and then hide the camera for a second. You'll see there is the animated overlay. I'll put the camera back on and then it would be back there. The only thing that I would do differently is set this bad boy to loop. So that way it plays over and over again and you don't see it when it stops. Now, I'm going to highly suggest, although you can put, moving background, don't. It's cute for like 5 seconds. Then it gets old real quick. So turn it off. I find myself even watching the news, staring at the background as it loops, and I stop paying attention to what they're talking about. So anyway, that is how you would do this. This camera is a piece of furniture. These overlays are furniture. I mean, these backgrounds are furnitures. Now, I want you to pay close attention to the fact that I stuck these in the current scene, and that can be probably, you know what? You got to go. I'm done. I'm done with you. All right, cool. So I stuck these in the current scene, and that's cool for now until I make a new scene. Oh, I got no furniture. This is a blank room. I know I want to use this particular background throughout the entire process. So how do you do that? If you look here, it says show in current scene, show in background. So when I'm over here, when I look at this, what I call my rug, I'm going to pull that down to show in background. And now when I dip to the new scene, it's there. It's a default piece. And since we're going to do this, let's do it correct. This is normally my background. All right. So now it's the same background throughout the whole process, no matter what scenes I make, because I have it down in here. So on the new scene, I'm going to show you some other things you could buy at this virtual furniture store. You can get images. You can get an animation, which I just did. You kind of watched it. You can get a screen share. You can get text overlay, aka lower thirds or upper thirds or whatever. You can get a new countdown. You can get widgets, which we'll see in a second, and then you can get a new camera. So for right now, what we're fixing to hit is the new camera. Booyaka, look, I'm here. All right, now clicking on this. I'm going to go in the shape section, and I'm 16 by 9 right now, but I'm going to select Squircle. Your options are classic 4x3, square, circle, squircle, tall, custom, and then the regular 16x9 wide. I'm going to pick on squircle or custom 99% of the time. For me, that's just how I do. Custom is cool because you can just grab this corner and size it to whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. It is shape agnostic, if you will. I'm going to select squircle. Now, yours will look a little different. I am using the beta, but most of the buttons are there. They're just in different places. All of this stuff is missing from the regular, but I have my border width here and my corner radius here. That part is in the regular version. I'm using the beta. I always use the beta. Is what it is. But you see I have a border of 8 and a corner radius of 12. And then so you can adjust your corner radiuses to whatever. I kind of know my numbers, so I leave them like that. And then same with this color. When you hit this, a little box of crayons like to pop up on the other monitor when they need to pop up here. But yeah, so there's your box of crayons, or you have your standard spectrum wheel. You got your HSL sliders. You can come in here and you notice I have my color set completely picked out. This is exactly the colors that we use for Ecamm when I'm doing my personal stream. These are my colors. So I have my palettes all sort of, put together like such so that I can get in and get out real quick with the modifications. All right. So now we're going to call this camera a thing. Wait, did I pick the right one? I did pick Squircle. All right, cool. So I'm going to drop this up here and find me about right there. And I'm going to embiggen it to about like such. And then I'm going to look for that line because that means that I'm in the center for this half of the screen. So from the halfway mark to the edge to the edge to the halfway mark is perfectly even. Now, before we jump into lower thirds, let me do one other thing. Actually, no, take that back. I'm going to go check on y'all questions for a second. Why you always press that? All right, boom. Your background looks like a painted wall. Oh, your background is light. Thank you, Paul. I was like, what are he talking about? What is up, Liz? In the eye, we got that. All right, cool. We're all in the building still. Oh, why do I always do that? Anyway, so I'm going to press on this T to bring up the text box here. And then I'm going to add my lower third. You know what? I'm going to do myself a favor right now. This has nothing to do with Ecamm, but it's just what I'm going to do. Because I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make new snippet and I'm going to paste in my text. And then I'm going to label this lower third. And then I'm going to abbreviation, comma, L3. All right. It's just because I have to type that every time, and it sucks for you guys because it takes me forever because I can't type. Now I can just go comma L3. Bam. All right. You see that? Text expander. Been using it for over 20 years. Dopest application on the Mac. Anyway, so I got my top joints up here. I know that that's at 64. I want my bottom line at 48. And then I want to select all of my fonts the way I like it. So we got us a Monster Rat. Sorry, we want a Mont. Where's regular? Regular. All right, cool. Then we're going to take this particular one, and we're going to go and add a semi-bold. And then we're going to take these bottom ones, and then we're going to add an extra light. Whoo, gangster, gangster. Now, me, I'm just a weirdo. You can do whatever you want. This is just something that I do. I'm going to take that piece, and I'm going to make it orange because that's Ecamm color. And I'm going to take the pipe and make it blue because this is what I do. I like mine to look, kind of weird. You know what I mean? Boom. So there it is. There's my lower third. I am going to now shrink this to about 80-ish% of my window. It could be whatever size you want. Actually, I'm going to shrink it a little bit more. I like that. That's about right. And then I'm going to pull That link is for if you want to check out Text Expander. You don't have to. That was a weird sidetrack, but I needed to do it because I have to type this so much it was driving me nuts. So anyway, so if you don't need Text Expander, don't get it. But trust me, it's a dope app. All right. So we're gonna do that and call that game recognized game. Can't see. All right. So here, Anita, I'll give you another prime example. Sometimes I want to show a text box and I want to explain what a text box does. I don't want to type 2 paragraphs of stuff. LOREM 2. I got 2 paragraphs of stuff. That's what Text Expander can do for you. That's why I use it. So like, not that I would ever put this on the screen live because that's just bananas, but somebody would. Anyway, so yeah, if you wanted to do something like that, those are some of the cool things that, you can do with Text Expander. You just make shortcuts for all of the things that you type all the time over and over again. That's what it's primarily for. Anyway, and you'll find out it saves you a lot of time. Keyboard Maestro, similarly, but that's more, Keyboard Maestro is more for doing macros. Text Expander is mostly text expansion. Love it. Absolutely love it. Man, this is driving me batty recently. I don't know what it is, but I'll fix it. Anyway, so now I got these guys in position. Everything is everything except for I want to grab my logo. You know the only problem with my Ecamm assets folder now? I got a metric F ton of assets, so they just be in there. When you create as many stuffs as I create, you start to collect. All right, gangsta. Now, what we're going to do real quick, boom. I like to keep these things well organized, so I'm going to hit this folder, and that's called a new group. And then I'm going to call this group, name your stuff, people. Trust me, especially if you're brand new around these here parts, if you don't name your things, your elements, you will lose them. You will forget what they are. It will break all kind of noise, right? So anyway, so now what I've done is by putting all of them in a folder, that's the logo, the text box, and the camera. Oh, again, let me peel out just a smidge. If you put this out of order, say I stick the camera on top, it hides your stuff, right? If I put the logo on top of the camera, now we got a whole mess. So make sure you are cognizant of the hierarchy. Cameras on the bottom, lower third is on the top, logo is in betwixt that or on top of that, right? All of this is in this folder called host. Now, the other thing is if this was really large, Andy's comment would also be behind stuff. We don't want to put our guests behind things. Your guest comment needs to fix and sit up on the top. On that same kind of vein, you could put the comment in the all the way top, so then when you switch scenes, the comment will stay active. I don't normally do that. I tend to leave the comment here, and then on this particular one, let me delete James, because if I hit Command K, boom, there you go. Andy comes back to the top with his jokes. Okay, so now going back to over here, I'm going to show you why I created that group. One, it's just cleaner. Number two, check this out. Let me give you guys a overhead camera, right? Whee! And then I'm going to hold the Option key. It's this one right here. I'm going to press this and then drag. Oh my God, it just made an entire copy of everything. Jesus, oh my God. Yeah, there you go. So that's the reason why I do it like such. You know what I'm saying? So if I go in here and edit this text now, I can put in another person here. Let's see, who do we want to pick on this week? You know what? I'll just stick to Ted. All right. I just broke broke something. Don't do that. I hate when that happens. Jesus. That was me breaking things. Don't break things. Booyaka. Hit that. Then I could take this one off, move the camera switcher, come over here, find the dog. Where you at, dog? Dog. Resize my dog and put the dog in the corner. Don't nobody put baby in the corner. Oh, come on, dude. And then arrows. I'm using the arrow keys to line it up. Whee! All right. Gangster. Things just ain't the same for gangsters. Let's put on the guest thing. And then now we're in there. Now we're in there like swim. Ooh, Jesus. Why do you do that? All right. So got these all set up. What I'm going to do real quick is lock this scene so that I don't scroll things out of the way, because what David just said, I found that if my scene is locked and then the comments will automatically show over everything, that makes sense because you can't add anything to the scene. So what you found is logical. If it's locked, that means you can't edit the scene. That means anything that's added to it will have no choice but to go on the top. I just wanted to remind people, because some people come up and ask the question, why do I have my things in the wrong order? The app that I use to show key presses on the screen is called Keystroke Pro. Version 2.4. Keystroke Pro. All right, cool. All right, let's see. We got all of that. That is all set up. Let's go make us a next scene. Whoop. Press the button. Boom. Click this. Add a camera. I like that camera. Shrink or fade it like that. Slide it up in the corner. Gangster. Add a screen. Sure. Yep. Pop it right here like it's hot. When the ladies get at it, you pop it like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot. All right, we're going to call that a day. We're going to move this over here. And then we're going to open up Keynote. This will be the same for those of you who use PowerPoint. May not use PowerPoint. I hate when I have to use Keynote. So using PowerPoint would just be asking for trouble. I'm going to open up a presentation. And where'd you go? Man, come on, gangsters. Open. I know what you're trying to tell me. You're trying to tell me that it's downloading because it was chilling in the cloud. Jesus. Let's do this. Let me go to Keynote. K-E-Y. Yep. Presentation is asleep. Don't you just love it when that happens? Give it a second. Luckily, we have fast download capabilities. Today will be the day it decides to go slow. Almost done. Did I not do? Yeah, maybe because I was on vacation, I hadn't opened it for a week, so it went bye-bye. Okay, now it's open. Now we can make this happen. All right, so here's my Keynote presentation. And normally I'm screen sharing this, right? So if you're looking at Ecamm, there's my presentation. I'm screen sharing it. What people don't want to see is they want to see when you bail and see all of your extra things, right? So what you can do is in Keynote, you go to play window, make sure that it's on in a window, not in full screen. In a window. That's the important part. That way, when you go to the tippity top and you play this presentation, this is the prezo. This is your notes if you use notes, right? You can turn that on or off. You know, you can embiggen it or unembiggen it. You got a little timer, like the whole 9 yards. There's just all kind of cool things that you can do with this. I got multiple monitors. So for me, I would move this to the master screen over here or to my teleprompter, right? So this is all I want the audience to see. So what you would do is come into Ecamm, press on the pencil, click on Keynote, select the name of the presentation. There it is. Big, right? Now, hold down the Option key on your keyboard and crop it in. Crop it like it's hot. You got jokes. You can crop it like it's hot, throw it up there again, and biggen it slightly bigger again. And then now, hold on, Andy. Whew. But yeah, now you can bring that in, and then now it's flavorful. EYSTROKE, Keystroke Pro. Bam. Website. Open Sie Witz Chrome. Open Sie the website Witz Chrome. There you go. Paul was about to send you to one of those sites that costs, 40 something a month. You don't want to go to one of those. Don't go to any random sites with the word stroke in it unless you know exactly where you're going. That's just my pro tip for the week. All right, cool. So now there's your Prezo. It's in there like swimwear. And then, yeah, you can control it, do
Hey
all
everyone, it's Shelly from Shelly Saves the Day.
Shelly,
I
stop.
want to
There we go. So you can do all of that, all your little animations, whatever you folks be into. That's cool. We discovered last week an even cooler way to do this. You can export your Prezo as what the word I'm looking for. You can export your presentation as an HTML file and just drag it in as a widget. But anyway, I digress. So let me click to this and rename my scenes before I mess up. And then let's rename this one. Okay, I'm gonna poop out. We're gonna duplicate the scene. I don't want that one. I want this one. We're gonna duplicate that scene. We're gonna call this browser. And then all you gotta do, because it's already set up, is just click here and change it from Keynote to Chrome. Boom. And there it is, Keystroke Pro for yourself. You know what I mean? So that's the one advantage, is knowing that certain your scenes, you don't have to duplicate them over and over again. If you already set it up and is, good to go, you just create another one, right? So like, for instance, I could take this browser one and change it to Chrome, right? And then I could duplicate that and then change this again. And we're going to call it Discord, right? And then all I got to do is come over here, select Discord, select Ecamm server, and let's put it on announcements here for a second, and then make sure that we're on the active scene. Press this button, change this to Discord. Boom, there's Discord in the building. And then again, you got two choices. You can adjust this window, or you can grab the corner of the window and stretch it to fit so that it's kind of sort of perfect, right? And then you can see the cursor moving and the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what the easy way to do it. Now, we want to talk about this widget thing real quick, because widgets is life. I'm going to duplicate this one more again, right? This one, I'm going to literally call it Keystroke Pro. And then I'm going to delete this. Nothing. I am going to bring this window over just so you can see. Grab the URL, drop it again like it's hot. Now I can move this window out the way. I have a full version of that website up in here. Right? Scrolly, scrolly. Boom. I'm doing it right now. It's really nothing. It's really nothing, but I'll show you more in a second. You're about to get mind blown when we finish showing you what we fixing to show you. If this doesn't pop your socks, you need new socks. I'm gonna just tell you right now, because this right here is so gangster. What I'm about to show you is so gangster. Okay, so I saved this. The things that I did real quick, I guess I should explain it. Boom. Let me stop that. This is so cool. All right, so one of the things that you'll notice is while I'm down here, there's a little finger thing, right? When it's off, I'm actually manipulating the piece in the scene itself. When it's on, I'm controlling the website. Like I could come over here and see what these 4.5 ratings are, or click on an image, so forth, so on, and etc. I can go forward a page or back a page. If I have multiple page, I can refresh the page like the whole 9 yards. So like if I pull up this screenshot and then I want to go back, I can go like that, Like, you know what I mean? I'm literally functioning the web page as if it's real, right? Now, what I pressed when I came in here was I changed the resolution to 1920 1080 because I'm streaming in 4K and it will just be cleaner, whatever, right? Actually, I might be streaming in 2K. But anyway, it's just going to look cleaner. I also pressed on high resolution mode so that it just looks better. And then the key was I put keep running. The keep running. All right, sorry, that's a song. I won't do music to rest today. Wait. Stop that. Matter of fact, mute that. The reason why I put keep running is that if I leave this scene and come back to the scene, it doesn't have to reload the page, right? So that's one of the advantages of this. Now, to Anita's question, to a certain extent, a widget is any piece of HTML code, which is a full web page or an effect, images, whatever that's written in HTML, you can display it in Ecamm as an overlay. To me, this is better than doing the screen share because I can interact with it in here without having to go to another screen to interact with it, which can, depending on how your scenes are set up or you got multiple screens or whatever, like it can just be somewhat disconcerting. So being here, I have full access and full control over this thing. But wait, there's more. Let's go and we're gonna make another scene. And on this particular scene, I'm gonna delete this camera, bam, and this widget. I'm gonna delete all of this. Everything's coming out of here, okay? Watch this, Anita. It's about to get cool. Let me move Keynote out the way because this is about to get cool. You guys are going, what? People that's new around these parts, they're going to be like, what in the hang was that? Sorry. I'm going to update Chrome because I just can't stand this notification just yelling at me for no reason whatsoever. It will take all of about seconds. And if it doesn't work, I'll use a different browser. All right, cool. All right, so write this URL down. You are going to need it, okay? overlays.uno. That's the one you need to know. All right, let me log it in real quick. And bam, use the watch. Come on, watch. There you go. This, my friends, is where it's at. So here's my overlay. Let me go ahead and activate this bad boy. Yeah, we'll do that. Let me go to the home first. These are all the types of overlays that are available on this particular site, right? You got lots. You can do all myriad things. I would just say come in here and do a peruse and see what pops your socks, right? Anyway, I'm going to go show you the ones to which I had set up for my lonesome, right? I'm going to press this guy and let's open this baby. All right, so this is my control website for this particular set of overlays, right? I have, and right now we are talking overlays, so let me move this to topic 2. All right, you see this little marker here, how it moves up and down? We're currently talking overlays. Down here on the bottom, there would be any news. I have where I've typed in my name and my little thing right here. I can say that I'm live from Honolulu, And, all of this is in here, okay? So, but what does that do for me, Doc? Okay, watch this. I'm going to copy this URL, and I'm going to move this browser out the way. I'm going to come back to Ecamm like such. I am going to press this little globe here, and in this URL box, I am going to paste that URL. Again, this is just me. You don't have to do this. Boy. 1920 1080. High resolution mode. Keep running. Right? Add the widget overlay. 2, 3, and. Boom. Embiggen it to full size. And that, my friends, is gangster. Now, next thing I'm going to do, lock this here overlay. Yes? Yes. Then what I'm going to do is grab a camera. This is my camera. All right. On this particular camera, I'm going to 86 the border, kill the corner width, and make it back to wide. And then embiggen it to full screen, tuck it under the widget, comment on top. I got a whole show. I got a whole show set up for me with a single overlay. And then now, as I control this overlay, right? Let me make this Chrome smaller, bring this back. I can make any kind of changes that I need to this overlay with, these little windows right here, right? But it gets one better. I'm going to copy this control window. So this is a URL, a control URL, okay? And then I'm going to bring up, let me do this real quick. Powell. P-A-U-L, Powell Duncan. P-A-U-L, Paul Duncan. Hopefully I disappeared it. Otherwise, you guys all see Paul's phone number and all of the dumb stuff we talk about. Okay, I am texting this link to Paul. Okay, so that is done. All right, just to give you a little something, so it don't look completely crazy. See, I just texted this overlay control to Paul. Okay, now watch this, Anita. I can sit back here and talk to you guys about anything under the sun except for move my hands. And Paul will be able to change my overlay for me from Palo Alto, California. Wow. Now we got Paul's contact info. So Paul is in Palo Alto, and I'm over here in Honolulu, and Paul can make changes to the overlay even though I'm not there. As a matter of fact, to make this a wee bit less confusing, let me move this out the way. And then, so what's cool is if I'm doing this show, see, like he just moved it to wrong finger, dummy. He just moved it to audio and effects. Look, my hand is still over here. Wait, how you gonna keep it in the window, right? So he can move it to audio effects. He can move it back to overlays. He can move it sort of up and down. Because, Anita, this is a web widget, right? So it's just a website. So Paul's actually controlling the website while I sit here and do this. If we were doing a live news show, if we were doing, DOCNN, and I was talking about various topics, I have my, little cards and stuff. And I'll be like, okay, today in the stock exchange, and I'm reading through my stuffs, I'm not stopping to press buttons to do changes or whatever. So you have a producer that's doing that. So theoretically, because this widget here is nothing more than a transparent website, let me go back to live demo mode real quick. I basically took this particular website, and you'll notice there's no background, and just put it here. And then so by controlling all of the parts that's down here, Paul is able to make changes to whatever's going on. So in this talking points, right, you can just add whatever, right? So Paul does the work. Doc is just a pretty face. When this lower third disappears, it will update to what Paul typed. Or he can cheat and turn this off, which it'll disappear, right? And then when you turn it back on, it will have the update in theory. It's not working, Paul. It must have to wait until it gets to the end of that long paragraph. So your smart aleck comments is useless. Anyway, so super cool. And again, if you go to the website, which Paul, I think Paul linked it up in here. There it is. You can get all myriad sorts of things. What I primarily use them for is I use widgets to display other websites that will give me full control and access of, you know what, Paul, here, let me do this. Let me reload it. That ought to do it. If I go to this, and hit edit the widget and then turn off keep running, save it. There, now it reloaded it. You know what I'm saying? And then I can go back again and turn back on keep running. I just forced it to reload. Ooh, I should tell the guys that we should have a way to reload it just from like a right click or something. Maybe you can. No, you cannot. Anyway, so yeah, widgets are super cool. Like, I think they're probably one of the most underutilized features of Ecamm because people don't understand them and they're always trying to do really crazy and hard things. But some of the use cases for them, if you go back here, you'll see there's countdown timer, right? Scoreboard type stuff, people that's doing trivia questions. Here's a real simple one. This one is simply, let me copy the link, copy the output link. And then I'll come here, hit the old widget, and then paste this in. This is literally just a social media scroller, which is going to give me, little social media dudes. And then you hold the option key to make the frame smaller. These are not edited, so they're just blanks right now. There's only some in there. But, you can make it like how big you want it. And then you set the timer, set the speed, the whole 9 yards, and then just like throw it in the corner. So like it's doing what it's doing without you having to sit there and press all myriad types of things, right? So that's another cool way to do it. But you can get widgets from all sort of places. Let's see, there is, what's it called? Nerd or Die. Most of these are Twitch oriented, which is kind of silly, but they're out there. So when you see people doing these streams with all of this weird stuff on it, that's what it is, right? That's basically just an overlay. So you can get stream overlays, but I have a whole video on the Ecamm YouTube channel talking about it so you can dive deeper. Boom. Copy the link. Share. Copy. Bam. I can do this while Paul's goofing off. There you go. So let me move this out of the way. Anyway, widgets are cool. I think it's again one of the most underutilized features of Ecamm that more people should get into. Now, let's take this to the next level. You get out of the way, App Store. You're driving me crazy back there. This box down here, the comments box, which I just interacted with, as you can see, allows me to click this and put something on. I can also drag a second comment on if I wish, or a third. If you want to add a bunch, you can just do it that way, right? So you're able to drag them in, and once they're dragged in, you can rearrange them so they don't all step over each other. And you'll notice I have mine set up to disappear at the end of 15 seconds. If you open up the preferences window, right here, you can say automatically hide comment overlays after 15 seconds. That is right here, right? So you can't do that. It makes your job easier. One of the things that's important to us, if you came in here in the beginning, somewhere, Paul probably wrote a comment that explained to you to posit your questions as questions and not as statements. Otherwise, I can't find them. So if I go up here to this one wasn't really a question, but under normal circumstances, Anita, I would miss this because it's not posited as a real question. It wasn't a real question in this particular case. But let me find your other one. What? Socks are off. This makes the job much easier with those overlay templates now. Yeah, it is easy. It's a good way to get started until you figure out what you want. Then you develop your own style, and then they're very easy to make. Like most people make them in Canva. I'm a little bit boycotting Canva at the moment, but I use Adobe Express. I can use Photoshop, Illustrator. You know, you can actually make them in Keynote. You can make really dope overlays in Keynote. You just have to make the transparency. Anyway, so this was a question Anita posited, and on a busy stream, I would have missed this because it's posited as such. However, what we normally tell folks to do, don't tell anybody you can do this. This is a little secret. There we go. We normally do it like such. And the reason for that is I can look for that question. So normally we hit the Q colon over here, and then you'll see, oh, he did write that. So there's pause. You get in the normal position. You can see Paul's thing. Also, Paul reminding you again, the reason why we put that there is because when I go to do the Q&A at the end, I can search for questions by putting Q colon here and make sure that we covered all of the questions. Q is a question, right? So this is literally makes it simpler for us to find the question. So that's the reason why we're so crazy about put in your Q colon in front of your questions, because today's stream's not super busy. You know, there's 20 to 25 people at any given moment. But when we do the live demo, for instance, I mean, not the live demo, when we do the, what we call that thing? The Ken and Glenn Q&A, and there's 500 people, and everybody's asking, when are we getting corner pinning? When are we going to get it for the iPad? When are you guys going to make it work for Windows? The answer to all of the above is no. Or maybe not corner pinning. I think that was being worked on. But in that particular situation, it's easier for them to be able to go and find those Qs. The monthly Q&A is probably happening while I'm in Boston this time. Maybe. Anyway, I'm leaving next week to go to headquarters. So, as in theory, next Friday's demo, let me look at this calendar real quick. Next Friday's demo might come from HQ. I didn't even think about that. Let me investigate. Let's see. Otherwise, Paul and Luis is doing it again. And I know y'all sick of seeing them too. Oh, yeah. Next Friday's demo is coming to you live from Ecamm HQ. So it might be me and Katie. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. Next Friday's demo, or maybe right after the demo, because people was asking about doing a lighting type workshop. I'll do that while I'm in Boston. I'll rip the lights out of the studio and reset them up so that you guys can see. And I think what's dope is I can take, Katie and I both have Insta360 flows, and then we can use NDI, and so she can hold the phone gimbal while I set it up. There you go. It kind of works that way. Here, there's my lock. If I go to drop in Paul, right, it kind of works that way. I'm assuming the reason why you're not getting that is you have your thing not set to fixed, maybe. Maybe that's the way. Oh, that's flying from the bottom. What if I do fixed? Oh, hello, David. I don't even, these are the things that you just do and you said it like 6 months ago and you completely forgot about it. Mine's been probably this way for 3 years. But if we were going to take this and take this, what do you suppose that does? It's super funny to me. It's funny to me when I have to answer a question that is just a question that's probably something super simple, but we all just do it without thinking that we do it. You know what I mean? It's like breathing. Well, how do you breathe? I don't know. You just breathe. Well, actually, you take your chest muscles and you expand them, which the vacuum causes your lungs to move out, and then as you bring in the air comes in like a bellow, right? But like explaining the process is a little bit different, and so yeah. Sometimes it moves, sometimes it don't. But I think all you gotta do is set your automatic width, and then push it till you find the center line, and it should be good to go. The other thing that will mess you up, if I think about this, because I haven't really done this, certain fonts don't render properly, and so your font might be causing that weird amount of craziness. All right, there you go. Good question, David. Good question. All right, so the other things to point out, because Anita's new, if you press this star right here, right, and I press this star right here, and then just go up here and pick a random one. I don't know why I would start Andy's jokes, but let's start Andy's jokes. Wait, why is Andy's star missing? There you go. Never mind. It didn't want me to start Andy's joke. I'll click that, and there's Mr. Cameron Younks right there. All right, cool. So when you come back over here, you can press on favorites, and then you'll see all the comments that you set yourself up to get back to later. So if you're teaching a workshop or whatever, and people are posing good questions, you want to make sure you cover them all, then you hit the favorites mode. As you're done, you remove the stars, and you come back to all comments, scrolly to the bottom. And he said, because I'm funny. then you're good to go, right? So that's like some of the cool stuff you can do, and comments and reactions. And you'll notice before I did answer you guys down here, I realize some of you guys is past lunch, but not me. It's morning. This allows you to answer back. That only works in YouTube. Facebook be broken. Twitch, I don't think that works. I think only YouTube allows you to answer back, but it is helpful that in YouTube you can answer back. So if you have, there's a bottom thing down here. Now, the other thing you'll see down here is this is where your comments and reactions is, the name of this window, but this little fingy right here and the 9 says that on this little up here, 20 people is looking. There we go. Now you know it. You know what it is. When you go, you hit the button, you saw a little, make the emojis fly. Make the emojis fly. Thank you, Paul. So there you go. That's what that is. That's the comments and reactions window. Let's come back over here to a little keynote situation, and we're going to move this. Again, I'd like to point out that the awesomeness of awesomeness is I can take this Ecamm web widgets, this video, right? It's right here. It's on YouTube. Listen, I could just grab this and drop it in, move this out the way.
I would like to add like a hit timer or an enter.
Boom, that's in there, right? So like I can fully, oh wait, let me turn it back off. I can fully just drop in any web page and embiggen it like such, even hit the theater mode or full screen. Full screen is cool because everything disappears. And then
timer too.
I'm basically controlling this as if it was, a regular page. If I were to do this, 86 to full screen, let me just get rid of that, put it back up. So yes, now I'm able to jump around, and this is why I like the widget way as opposed to the screen share way, because I'm literally able to move around, show people a particular part, jump to a particular part, stop the video, explain some things, all myriad sorts of things. So this is a much cooler way to do it. Turn off the closed caption because I'm here. I can just tell you what it is, things of that nature. So yeah, just a reminder that you can drag and drop any web page in, and it will automatically build a widget for you on the Flizzeye. All right, let's do one other. Let's bring up screen share again, and let's bring up the old camera levels, and I'll put that back, and I'll put this back. There we go. Waha! Why you do that? Why you want to do that, boy? We want to show. on. There we go. Now we want to edit. And I want to select Ecamm Live, and I want to select sound levels. All right, there's my sound levels panel. As you can see in my particular case, as I speak, my sound levels are working. Now, if I were to turn back on this timer, if I were to pick this HTML up, so that works because it's coming through my Rodecaster Pro. Under normal circumstances, those sounds come from sound effects. But I'm not using system audio because I have it routed through my mixer. So in this particular case, sound effects are anything that I press in here. Right? And if you press on the little gearbox next to the sound effects down here, you could actually lower that so it's not that loud, right? And then now it's quieter. You know what I mean? If I want to add a hotkey to this, right, I can add the D. Right? So you can add hotkeys to your sounds, things like that. So this is your sound effects window. And to add a sound effect, all you do is just take something, drag it in. Game recognized game. That's all you need to do. I don't use this echo cancellation thing. It's available to you, but if I were to not be using my Rodecaster and say have my speakers on full blast, you know, you might need to use echo cancellation. If you can avoid it, avoid it. It does make the sound sloppier. So, I mean, it's there because people refuse to wear headphones. Just get IEMs. They're really comfortable and not that big a deal. But yeah, that's what will keep you from needing that. I want to get rid of the high key before I accidentally press something. And then now let's come back over to this one. Ecamm These are all of the sound effects that are in there. Next to that, you'll see the hotkey. One thing to point out is there's a little timer that can show you how long you got. And you can adjust for individuals, or using the previous panel up here, you can adjust for the whole thing as a system. So you do have a couple different options there. Then you can press the stop button here and it fades out. Okay, so there's that. If you put a bunch of things in a folder, they will play in a row. So you can click this folder icon, make a folder, throw a bunch of songs in there. They'll all play consecutively, and then you can click on the end, like there's a little loop icon that will cause it to loop. And so that's a good way to bring sound in like such. All right, so now let's check out. Oh, camera switcher. This is my favorite. This is hands down my favorite new feature inside here. Andy was doing his best job trying to explain this to somebody the other day, and they was not wrapping their head around it. But camera switcher is your friend. Trust you me. All right, so why do we make camera switcher? Because if you have a bunch of cam links, I saw it. I saw that video, Andy. That was good. Thank you for that. If you have a bunch of cam links and your cam links don't want to behave properly, it's a Mac OS thing. Let's cover this first and foremost. Mac OS is weird in the sense that when you turn on your computer, when the USB things that are externally plugged in activate, is a matter of timing. They're not necessarily in the same sequence, right? So if you got 3 cam links, today cam link 1, 2, and 3 are fine. Tomorrow it'll come in as 3, 2, 1. The day after that it'll come in as 2, 13. The day after that it'll come in 3, 1, 2, and then it'll come up 1, 3, 2, and then it'll come up 1, 2, 3 again, and it's psycho, right? So what that does, people. Thank you, Anita. Appreciate you. People who use multiple cam links, when they reboot their machine, cam links just be out of order. So what you can do in this particular setup, Command Backspace takes me back, is instead of having them in here where everything is labeled as sources, I can turn all of these sources on, but they get obnoxious after a while. And why is my OBS bot not coming on? Sorry, Sidetrack action. Anyway, instead of it going like this, which will get all out of whack, especially unplugging and plugging, adding or unadding phones, things of this nature, you come over here and you label them by ABC. So camera A is my game capture HD60X. Camera B is Insta360 Link, which is up in the ceiling. Camera C is the Ozbot over here. Camera D is the Ozbot with the special effects added. Camera E is the HD60 again, but in this particular case, I can click on here. I have camera E and camera effects, and I can do something crazy like zoom it in tight and get all up in your grilly, right? Make it different, and come down here and hit it on black and white or sepia tone or even witness protection, right? Now, people are like, I don't know why I would use that for whatever. It's a webcam, so webcams, you can hit max resolution to make it do a thing. Anyway, I'll show you why you might want to do the blur effect in a second, but this makes it easier because you build your scenes with these letters, and then you can always just come back in and readjust the letters. So since the day we got this, I put my guess starting at camera F because I knew that might give me enough chance to move other cameras around. So I do, guess 1 is F, guess 2 is G. I will come down here, pull up a guess 3, and make that H. And then if I need to add another one, I'll just add another placeholder camera, and then I'll come in and then do guess 4. Guess 4 would be down there, for camera I. I was like, why does it say camera 1? Anyway, this little button right here gives me access to record these individual cameras if I wish. And then like I showed earlier, I can take any one of these outputs and send them to a different place. How low can you go? Death row? Water brother, no. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, so I'll give you a prime example as to why one might have this here and then do the blurry thing. Well, because you might want to show something on top of it and you want it to not be distracticating. So this isn't that pre's window. I need to go back to Ecamm assets. So let's just say I was going to drop this in. You know what I mean? So you can still see me moving back there. So you know that it's a live stream, but I might just want to show you this particular file or image or something of that nature. So that's a reason why you might do the heavy hardcore blur situation. So that's the camera switcher and that wraps it up. All right, cool. We did it. We did another full demo. And since Anita's going home, then we all can go home. Hey, Ozbot decided to wake up. Ozbot decided to wake up. Anyway, the main thing is that in the camera switcher, like you have access to do all sorts of coolio things with just having this camera switcher switched on. Do that. Not that one. This one. So yeah, you can rearrange all your stuff to be any way you want, and it is kind of cool. So we are going to pop into the Discord and do some affiliate trainering. So if you guys want to come in, there's that. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, I didn't set my thing to remember those settings, which was dumb because I got this Ozbot looking super dope the other day. It's super dope. But I'm going to just show you my favorite part of this. Tiny sleep. Hey, Tiny sleep. Oh, I don't have it turned on. My bad. I love this camera. This camera is so cool. Where's voice control? More. Voice control. There you go. Oh, sleep, Tiny. She gone. That's so cool. And then she come back up. Oh my God, I just love it. I love it. It's so funny. Track me. Yo, this camera is bananas. Anyway, I got to go to the affiliate demo and not play with this camera. What the heck is going on around here? I'll see you guys in the Discord. Pop in. We'll be in the affiliate section. That might be harder for some of you guys to find. So let's just go straight into the rec room. So if you want to check out some Ecamm affiliate training, go to the Ecamm Discord server and jump in the rec room, and we'll be in there. And Paul, if you can, drop the link to the Discord just in case somebody forgot. So now let's do this right here and just hit the, well, Tiny, you're tracking me too much. Unlock me. All right, cool. That was this scene. It's funny. LP, I think it was her. LP, Loria just did a stream the other day or a video the other day talking about as dope as AI cameras are, if you don't need tracking because you're sitting in the room, turn that mess off. She was so right. Like, people be turning on stuff for no reason. You don't need it. Just turn it off. Just turn it off if you don't need it. I'm just saying. It's just not cool. Anyway, aloha, folks.
Coming straight out of Ecamm. This is a jam with the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam. This is a jam with the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam. This is a jam with the Ecamm fam.